this of the National Assembly and the presidency and all that. So if you talk about, inappropriate use of funding, misapplication, or corruption, and name all that, the National Assembly holds responsibility for this oversight function, which people can hold them accountable for.
Well, Ambassador, let's travel again to Zamfara, looking at the state policing, even as it has become a front-burner conversation across the country. The insecurity that we've seen play out in Zamfara for the last couple of months is worrisome. But then, what seems more worrisome is the vigilantes that communities have been set up in Zamfara state right now, even trying to assist in combing some of these challenges in advance. We want to speak to this issue. First, on the political side of all of the internal security that we have in Zamfara, how effective has the vigilantes been so far in Zamfara state? Knowing fully well that in some communities in Zamfara right now pay ransom to bandits and other form of criminal gangs to go to the farms.
Well, I think there is limit to what the vigilante group can do. Mind you, these guys carry only locally fabricated arms. How can you go and say you are fighting somebody carrying RPG, AMG, and the rest of more sophisticated weapons? The colonel knows what I'm talking about because he's a professional. Most of these guys, the guns they carry about are those they use, what do they call it? This locally made bullet. Yes.
Cartridges.
Yes, locally made cartridges for them too. So how can you confront somebody carrying AMG, RPG, and the rest of that? For somebody, they were showcasing the other time that they have this gun that can shoot aeroplane.
Anti-aircraft guns?
Anti-aircraft gun. How do you face such people? They were jubilating in the public media that we have acquired this, we have this. And truly they have it. They were even claiming that other, one of the Air Force aircraft that has been shot down, that they did it. So to me, yes, it's a good thing that the communities must have to come now and protect themselves, which even I've seen it, even the Chief of Defense Staff come out and said people should now protect themselves. But there's limit to that, because if you now go and say you're acquiring AK-47, even him, who was a security personnel to the rank of a lieutenant colonel, does not have AK-47 now. It is against the law in Nigeria for him to own such.
You're right.
So how can this man now say he's protecting himself? This one that, what do they call it? This gun they sell everywhere. What was it?
Pump action?
Pump action. Virtually, that is the only gun that is allowed for anybody at the top war to even have. So how can the vigilante address such situation? Yes, they are trying, because the way we see our people dying by the day, every day by day, to some extent we have to, because, gone. And by the grace of God, the bullets, the locally fabricated bullet they made, the cartridges they made to shoot those guns with, are so powerful that they can even cut a tree. Yeah. If they hit human being, they divide you into two. So that, to some extent, creates certain degree of fear to those bandits. That, okay, these locals have fabricated something that if it hit us all, it would squarely divide you into two. So to some extent, that has bring a certain degree of a kind of succor to the people. But there is certainly limit to what the people can do. and there's limit to what the government itself can do. This issue has been on, even the former governor of Kaduna State said so, that we should face these people head on. I was kidnapped. I was kidnapped. For 18 days, I told you I was kidnapped. And while I was in that captivity, I know what we've discussed with them. And I've seen the kind of guns these guys carry about. For that 18 days, I've been with them. You understand? So I think, to me, for, like the colonel said, the security establishment in Nigeria is being overstretched. Certainly it is. So we need more security involvement and engagement, and holistically, not the ones we're having today. Because to me, I think I may say it's been compromised. Because these people moves about. Last week, former governor of Kaduna State said in the public media, he has challenged them that they pay ransom. And they know why they are. That if anybody is saying what he's saying, they should come. He is here in the studio, they should come and challenge him. So what are you talking about? And mind you, why I was telling you our governor is so frustrated is that no human being or no leader would want to see his people being killed and would be happy, including the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But unfortunately, what we expect of them, had it been these guys are invisible, would have said, okay, yes, we cannot see them. But they are visible. So why can't the system address it squarely? We have the manpower, we have the military strength. Is it not in Nigeria here, the Nigerian military during his days will go and fight in other African countries, ECOMOG and the rest of them, and restore peace there with large number and came back happily. So is it these few ones that is in Nigeria, wherever it's not all over Nigeria, it's between Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Axis and Niger. It's not even in the southwest. It's only in the southeast to some certain degree, whereby they have IPOB and the rest of them. And that one too can be curtailed if holistically we really want to do it. So I think, to me, for anybody to come and say the governor is maybe shortchanging or slighting the system of the center here, I think it's an understatement. The governor is certainly really not, you could even see it from his face, that he is really not happy. And this is something he will have to stand before his creator, because he has sworn with the Quran or Bible, whatever, that he will protect these people, but he is being incapacitated.
All right, let's come back to Colonel. Colonel, looking at this conversation holistically, can we say at this point that Nigeria is ripe for the state police conversations with the rising insecurity that we're experiencing across the country? Are we ripe for this conversation?
Yes, we are ripe for the conversation. Certainly, the challenge is staring us in the face, and the solution is by decentralization of structures in order to meet the challenges at community level.
I'm asking that question because a lot of people will say that politicians will hijack the process, and politicians will tend to even want to control the police too, at the detriment of their people.
Oh, beautiful. It's a valid argument. It's a valid argument. But the thing is that there must be strong enactment, strong regulations.
By politicians?
Well, they are accountable to you. They are accountable to you. And I expect that anybody who is, like the governor is talking about now, is talking about it strongly, which means he can also influence his assembly members to implement certain things. And don't forget that there's a bill going on. There's a bill on this. And the bill, 2023, is still being debated to make sure that it is foolproof. And the challenges we face and the complaints that people make are valid, and they are looking at it. But the issue is that, do you, in the face of this, simply say, let go? No, you've got to do something. And we are in a federalism. We are in a federalism. So decentralization of security architecture is normal in a federalism. to be able to decentralize it. How you do it and how best you can do it should be evolving in a way that as soon as, and even policy making, once you have established a policy, through implementation, you begin to learn, you begin to monitor, evaluate, learn, and refashion and reframe. So at any point in time where there is abuse or some infraction along that line, you begin to tinker and begin to improve on it.
In the face of situations where we have across the country where most politicians don't even obey court orders, you're saying at this point that if we are ripe for such a conversation in our nascent democracy, or should you just throw this document into the bin and try to empower the military?
For me, first of all, as a military expert, and secondly, as a policy analyst, the starting point for everything discussion at all is the Constitution and the law, backing them. The law enactment that seems to address the challenges. What is the objective? The objective is to ensure that every citizen is secure. So how do you go about it? And you begin to do enactment. You have the Constitution provision is there, the constitutional provision is there, and you have the structures. They are all there. So all you require to do is improve on them and work on them rather than let go. Okay? And let me add to the point he has made with regards to the vigilante and the local defense system, the local community defense system. It can be improved upon.
Yeah.
It can be improved upon.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, recently we heard they have forest guards, for example. All these are numbers, but the point I want to continuously make is how do you actually use technology to support this? You get my point. That's the thing. And most importantly, even the administration of all these things. We have seen how ammunitions fly around. Ammunition fly around. How do you even government stockpile of ammunition? The management is poor. The management is poor. How many times have we seen in a public function, where you find orderlies of politicians shooting guns in the air, either as felicitation or for anything? You just who account for that? So the management itself must be put in check, and I keep saying, it behooves on the National Assembly and the state assemblies who have the oversight function to really tackle the issue with honesty and the political will to do so. Otherwise, we are all in danger and will continue to be in danger. If you bring police, if you establish state police, and the same system continues, you have achieved nothing. You have achieved nothing.
Well, security experts will say that security is everybody's business. Let me bring this to Ambassador. Security is everybody's business. But then, traveling down to Zamfara, we hardly hear the people, although they're in pains. We hardly see people from Zamfara coming out in mass to protest, or to agitate, or even march down to the Federal Capital Territory, walk to Aso Rock, to challenge this current administration. Is it that these people from Zamfara are so satisfied with the... It's only the governor that is currently speaking out to a very large extent. But then, is it that these people are satisfied and they don't want to speak out? Or there is an internal policy going on that we are not even aware of?
Okay, to start with, if you look at it, if you are to have somebody who is from Zamfara State, look at that, there are number plates. The slogan there is, farming is our pride. For somebody who is a farmer in the village, does he even know where to start from? Not to talk of coming to the center and say they are carrying placards that we are tired. These guys solely depend on farming. It is out of this farming they eat, clothe, and take care of their immediate environment.
Even in the face of them paying ransom to go to their farms.
Yes.
They still cannot speak out.
How can they? Let me tell you, the local government where I came from, that is Bukuyum local government. From Bukuyum to Zamfara, to the state capital, Zamfara, is about, I think, about 100 kilometers or thereabout, or even less than. But today, if anybody is coming from that Bukwim to Zamfara State, so he should bid his family farewell.
Uncertainty on the road?
Because that road has been taken over by the bandits by the day. So what we do now, we have to move back from Bukwim to go, you have to turn about 360 degrees. You have to go back to Gumi. From Gumi, go to Sokoto. Yes. From Sokoto, you now take to Zamfara, which is over 200 and something kilometers. How many is their number? And these are people that if you go to them, you cannot even get 10,000. And look at the price of petroleum prices. Look at the high rate of transportation. And these guys cannot even go to farm. The thing is just too much on these people, my brother. It's just too much on them. These are people who are scampering for survival. You are now asking them to go and carry placards. To where? Okay, if they are to do it, how many are they? Do they even have the money to charter a vehicle from their villages to go to Sokoto, from Sokoto to Zamfara? Recently, the chairman of party of the PDP from my local government, Bukwim, risked it that he was going to come because there's an emergency meeting in Zamfara. He risked it. What happened? They shot him. They killed about 3 people in that vehicle. Take some of them to the bush. Because he's an old man, they shot him, they left him there. It was the locals who came and rescued him and took him back. Up to this moment I'm talking to you, he's receiving treatment. They shot him about twice. How can they come to the center and say they want to carry placards and do? How can they? They are so incapacitated. This is a hunger. They are really fighting with hunger. What to eat is the problem. Farming, they cannot go to farm.
But you know, besides that, even the governor himself is representing the people and he's speaking.
He's speaking, yeah.
The governor himself is speaking. So if the voice of the governor is even more than
the local, of course.
People won't even know. People, when you say the voice of the governor is people hear the governor speak, and this I've asked that question if it has a political undertone when the governor speaks, because it tends to be more of a political clamoring, because he's from the People's Democratic Party, and I thought they'll take that conversation along that line to say that People's Democratic Party is trying to criticize the government at the center.
But let me tell you that. Even beyond that, the northern leaders recently talked about a state of emergency.
Yes.
Recently.
Yes, of course they do. And more so, let me tell you, there was a state, one of the members of the state assembly died in Zamfara State, which happens to be Korero, the local government. I am a member of the electoral committee. We've seen what has transpired. Some days to that election, these bandits came out to those communities and were killing people just to put fear in them so as not to come out and exercise their civic franchise. Once that date has been announced, that banditry took over that environment. And now that the election is over, APC used money and the military. We have the records.
Allegedly. Let's go allegedly. Let's allege that they use them.
See, let me tell you, we have people that are being beaten by the military. It was when we had our complaint for the run. That was why to some extent the military were asked to. And the people in the state says, who is behind this? Could it be the Minister of State for Defense, who happens to be the son of the soil, who should at least have done more? That is when we see the number of the military presence in that state.
During elections?
During that election. Everywhere you see has been militarized. Simply because we really want to win this. Okay, if we have such energy, why can't we put it in to protect these people? That is when these people will honorably, even we are members of the PDP. If you give these people this protection they desire, that PDP will not have a single vote, because all they are asking for is that security, so that for them to go back to farms. But look at what is the margin. And that's a place where, despite the presence of the military, right, votes are being bought for 100,000 per vote.
Alleged. Let's allege.
I was there. I'm a member of the committee.
Let's allege on that, Ambassador. Let's allege on that and go that route. But then let me come back to Korero. Korero, X-raying this whole security architecture that we've tried to even we've used over the years, can we say that the generality of the architectural structure of Nigeria has failed Nigerians? That's why we are where we are right now. Or we should say it was a policy framework that has failed in this whole architectural framework within the security network, and as such, the state police should be introduced.
Well, let me say again, from point of view of academics, policy analysis, all these structures we are talking about happen in other climes. Yeah. They all have them. So we are not being ingenious to say, oh, there's anything special about these structures. The armed forces are there in every country, the police is there in every country. Now I want to introduce state police. It's also there in many of these countries. India has it. Okay? Of course, not to talk of US. Most of these federalism, they have it. So we are not reinventing the wheel. They are already in existence. However, why are they failing? Purely political will. The will to do the needful. The will to actually follow through what is established on the ground. That's basically what it is. And if you listen to stories here and there, of course, it's the same thing. The political will to do it.
All right, that brings me to this point where I want to ask, because people from the northern part of Nigeria, especially from Zamfara and Benue State, Plateau is not even left in this conversation. They've also had their own fair share in all of this. What is your security advice to those people at this point in time? Should they toe the path of the carrying firearms, or what should the people begin to do as we begin to wrap up?
Graduated, structure at the limited community level, give them the responsibility, and essentially it's just observation, intelligence, sharing, and all that from the community. Just like he has rightly said, they have the information already. They have all those kind of things. Okay, but the connect between the sharing of information and the response is the question. And when you talk about response, it behooves on a more higher firepower to respond as quickly as possible. So give it or take it, the structure itself must have graduated responsibilities. And I can take it from his discussion and from what the governor has said, the information required to address the issue is already there. Everybody knows it. How come it's not being addressed? It's a political will. I think all
right, so let me come back to Ambassador as we begin to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You've said it is not a political statement by the governor to say that they know the people that are some of these bandits. They know their houses. They know where they live.
Yeah.
He has come out to say that. But then,
he's a honorable man.
But looking at the structure of Zamfara as it stands, the people of Zamfara know these bandits, and they are not going after them. Can we say at this point in time that the people of Zamfara are not going for these bandits, not even carrying out a casual arrest on them, try to even suppress them when they come back to their house without weapons? Can we say that this is negligence on the part of the people of Zamfara by not doing the needful, by carrying out, even if it's a local arrest on those persons?
How can they, when they have the presence of military, police?
Are the military guiding the bandits?
They are certainly not guiding them. But mind you, what I said was that these guys are highly with so sophisticated weapons.
When they come back to their homes, they don't come back with weapons. I should think
they have like an armory. In that place they live. Mind you, I told you I was there. I was kidnapped. I know what I've seen. For that 18 days I've been there, I know what I've seen. My brother, let me tell you, from Nasarawa to Niger State, to Kaduna, to Zamfara, to Sokoto, the arms that are in that bush, my brother, well, I don't know to what extent the government is prepared, but the infiltration of firearms in those bushes, my brother, I don't think even the government can withstand them.
So what should the people do as a parting gift right now from you? What should the people do? Should they continue to wallow in squalor? Should they continue to fold their hands and do nothing? Or what should the people of Zamfara do?
Virtually, there's limit to what the people can do. Like the corner rightly said, they have given that information. To some extent, if you choose to give an information out, the next you are the target.
We saw the rise on bandit fee in the farm almost about how many months ago, where they increased their fee for the farmers to get to the farms.
Yes, yes. So if you choose to challenge them, to, I think, be prepared for your obituary. The best thing for you to do is, as you see them doing their thing, just pray to God. But had this been the system of the day, especially where we are expressing this frustration is, we have the state minister of defense, who happens to be the son of the soil, was a governor of this very state. But we only see the presence of military attachment only when there's an election, they want to achieve something.
Are you saying that the Minister of State for Defense is directly frustrating the effort of the government and sabotaging security in the state?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. But what we expect of him, especially for somebody who is being loved by the president, should go to the president. Mr. President, you claim to have loved me. That's why you appointed me. He was on the run. Immediately the president was announced he's the winner. He was asked to come back. He's now been made the Minister of State for Defense. So for somebody whom you love so much like this, go to the president, kneel down and cry for him. To some extent, even if you choose not to address this issue, resign. Wallahi, the very day he resigned, let me tell you, no matter how the Zamfara people loved the current governor, I swear to God, if today Bello Matawa say I'm resigning my position of the State Minister of Defense simply because the center is not addressing the issue security challenges in my state, Wallahi Tallahi 2027, let him contest. Before 11, the gap between him and the current governor, in fact, you cannot even quantify it. Everybody will come out in mass and vote for him because that's what is expected of him. But unfortunately, we are seeing the opposite of that. What we expect of him, have you ever, tell me in any of the national media where you see the State Minister of Defense coming out to cry on behalf of his people? I'm challenging you.
Well, let's take that challenge to the State Minister of Defense also. At this point, of course, he's watching us on this program, and we know that he will definitely speak to the issues at hand. But at this point, I want to say thank you so much, gentlemen, for finding out time to be with us here on Korero.
Thank you.
But the conversation is never ending because we'll definitely continue this conversation as we begin to x-ray
let
issues.
me just make a last point on this question. I think the proliferation of arms must be curbed, and we should have to strengthen the national center excuse me, for small arms and light weapon control, because the picture he has painted about proliferation of arms is the truth of the matter. Over 7 million by estimate of weapons are everywhere within the country. This must be mopped up, and that's the only way forward that we can actually get a better situation.
Otherwise, Nigeria is in the near theater state, in near war theater.
We must mop up all these weapons, small arms and light weapons everywhere. That's
everywhere.
That's just it.
Everywhere.
Well, like I said, the conversation is just starting, of course. What I've been saying that our time is fast spent, and I wish we had more time to talk more even on these issues. I want to say thank you again, Ambassador Oli for finding out time to be with us. And Cornell, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
Thank you so much.
yours.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go on the show today. Do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window